So my name's Daryl May. I'm one of the owners of that KD Creative Woodworks. My wife's the mastermind of the whole thing. I just get to enjoy the ride along. I'm going to turn a blank today. Giraffe blank, all set up. This is one of the brown, the original colors that I'm going to turn today. We're going to press it for, pull up the instruction book here for everybody so you see. Whoops, I don't want to lose parts in there. All right, so we're going to be doing the Royal pen kit. Kind of a girly pen, but I got a customer who is opening a jewelry store and wants something cool, so I figured put a giraffe blank in there with the little crown jewel on the top. So that's the project that I'm going to be working on this morning. I got a couple more that I'm going to do. When we were at the Mid-Ohio Valley pen gathering, one of the guys there, I'm horrible with names, I can't remember, they sat next to us in the booth the whole time. He makes OSB blanks. So he stabilizes, I'll show you one. He stabilizes OSB. And he also dyes it. So I have one of those drilled out, and they showed me pictures of when they're done, and they are phenomenal looking. Hi, Clement. But so I'm going to turn one of those in a 30 caliber bolt action, because the guy who's opening the jewelry store with this one, he has done construction his whole life, and so I wanted to show him the prettier side of an OSB board, which most people can't stand because of all the splinters you get from it. So anyway, I'm going to begin my turn. I already got a barrel trimmed. I've got everything set. So let's get this thing fired up. Hopefully I don't get any crazy blowouts or anything. I really haven't had any with the giraffe blanks, but you know, never know. All right, I'll try and keep my eye on what's going on. I've got it on my phone, so my phone's just laying on a board that's straddling. Here's my setup, just so you guys can see. I literally have a board screwed up here, and it overhangs my blank, so just to give you an idea, it's just laying up there. All right, well, let's get going, and we'll start from there. So I just need to lightly take off. Let me use a different tool on this guy. This round one seems to work better for me. Trying to work off and get it from the square shape down to a round shape. And you can always tell when you hit that point, because right now they're coming off in little chips and shavings. When you hit it and it's round, it'll come off in almost like a clean ribbon. You can also lightly rest your tool on top and see how it bounces. That lets you know that it's not round. Some of you may already know these tips and whatever, but I just like to cover over all of it for anybody who hasn't. These are little things that I learned when I first started, and figure it's important to cover some of those things, to share that information for anybody who's new at this. Yeah, it was crazy when my wife developed this blank. At first, I was the skeptical guy going, no, that's not going to work, that's not going to work. And then she did it and it went crazy with all the amount of orders that came in for it. There you go. You see how it's coming off a little bit cleaner? So we're getting closer. We still probably got a little bounce, a little bit of vibration. But she made the original one for my daughter, who's a huge giraffe fan, and wanted to make her a special blank. So she said, hey, let's make a giraffe blank. So she came at me with the idea, and when we first started doing it, There we go. See how it's coming off in a clean ribbon? And now we'll get a lot of this wrapping up on there because it's coming off. Yeah, it's smooth. So she came up with this design, and I'm like, how is that ever going to work? The initial one she cut with a scroll saw out of maple. So this white pattern, we call it the bone pattern just because it's kind of got that bone look to it. That part, it was all cut out of maple. So she went on a scroll saw and cut it all individually. And she cut it out, and then she had to stabilize it, so we had to get a stabilizer so we could stabilize everything. It was just all these little steps that it took in order to create it. So we did the first one. She turned it. My daughter still has it to this day. She loves that pen. Because it was the first one that her mom made for her. So she revised it from there. We did a lot of different things with it and started putting different colors in, because once she showed that pen kit, I believe she showed it here on Pen Turning Facebook page. Literally overnight, it was like she had like 40 something orders for those, and the way she was doing it took forever. So we kind of worked on streamlining that process, which took us a while to figure out how to do. And well, I should say it took me a while. I'm the slower one of the group. My wife she can see these things and say, oh, this is what we need to do. So she kept trying to convince me of it. She finally did, and I did it. She says that I did it and claimed it was my own credit, which probably is the case, but now we've got it refined to the process where it's all 100% Alumilite. Because there was guys that were turning them, they were having a hard time because they would go from Alumilite to wood to Alumilite, and it was causing problems for them. Here's the trick with this. When they come off in ribbons, they're all one piece, so it's one long piece and it'll wrap itself up all the time. So use a toothbrush. You leave it running and you just go back and forth and kind of, just like you're scrubbing teeth, and it'll all come off. That way you can leave it running, you don't get your finger in there and possibly wrapped up in the lathe. So yeah, they were going from wood to Alumilite to wood to Alumilite, and it wasn't sanding as smooth as they'd like it. And so we said, what if we made the whole thing out of Alumilite? So then we went through a little research and development phase with our stuff, and now we've got it to that point where it's all Alumilite. And I tell you what, when you turn it, you can watch Bob Blanford when he shows turning one of our blanks too. It is just, it's easy. It's easy, it comes out smooth, and it polishes up beautiful. So, and the cool thing, we mix enough resin in there, you don't have to paint the tubes. You just put it on and go. Clean that up a little bit more. See how we're looking in there? And we got to come down more. Now you'll start to see that two-tone pattern in there where it looks like almost a yellowish. You turn it a little bit and it gets darker. It's that Perlex or whatever she uses in there with her colors. We use all kinds of different stuff. The majority of what we use though is a caster's choice. And it was funny, we went to that pen gathering. That was the first one we'd ever gone to. And we went there, and her and Brian Bloom just sat there and talked colors the whole time. It was funny. But yeah, she definitely knows her stuff with colors. So I'm like most guys. Colors consist of 4 different colors, and that's about it. Yeah. But trying to clean this thing up here a little bit, smooth it out, round it out some. I have a dust collector that I normally have set up, but if I run that, then it's hard for you to hear me. So that's why I leave it off. I started I posted videos yesterday, because I'm working at launching a YouTube channel. Katie Creative Woodworks, a YouTube channel. So that way I can just do live streams on YouTube. That's kind of my goal. When I was talking with Bob, you know, he turns a lot, and he was explaining the benefits of it. If you do something on Facebook, you run the risk of it getting buried in all the different media that gets uploaded on Facebook. But if I do it on YouTube, then people can find it. It's always there. I can send people links to my stuff, right to the direct video. So I'm trying to work on developing that. I just have to start posting more content. But I wanted to shoot a live video today. I know YouTube does live videos too. I saw something in there like you need so many subscribers in order to do it. So hopefully I can up my subscribers so that I can do that. So if you guys don't mind going in there and subscribing, that'll help me out. But yeah, I posted a video yesterday. We just started launching our crayon blank. And man, I tell you what, that video, we just did a short little 40-second video clip of turning that, but man, that thing comes out awesome. And you want to talk about a great gift for like a teacher, for a kid's teacher. Well, you turn a crayon blank for them and turn that into them. It is beautiful how they turn out. I'm just trying to get this edge closer so I get a smooth transition. Normally what I do is I'll work the edges when I get down a little bit. I'll work the edges because I want that flush fit, and then I'll worry about thinning out the center of it later. That's the way I've always done it. It might be different. All the turners have different ways they like to do stuff, and that's great. It just keeps I believe it keeps the product fresh. I mean, everybody has something different to offer. All right, let's clean this up a hair more. And that's getting close. Let's work this other side a little bit. Just try and work a smoother taper. Go down on it probably about an inch or so, and then just slowly creep into it and try and get that transition better. Because then all I have to do is just work the middle like that, and then it smooths it right out. That's pretty close. That can come a little closer. let's clean up the center a little bit. So normally when I clean up my center, what I do, and I can see it from looking in front of it, you can see it looking straight down. I try to follow that ridge line, and I try to make that ridge line a nice, I don't want it straight, because to me that looks more production, like it was turned out in some kind of a factory. I like to have a little bit of a rounded edge, a little fatter pen, not extremely fat, but, well, unless you ask my wife, then I prefer them fatter than she does. But I just want a smooth transition in there. And so I'll get close. It won't be 100% close, but I'll finish the rest of this off in sanding. I've had some where, not on these Giraffe blanks, but on other kits, when I was close and I went in there with the tool and it just caught an edge and just exploded the edge. So now I'm a little gun shy, and when I get close to the edge, then I just sand it to get it closer instead of running the risk of blowing it up. So anyway, so I feel a little hump right in here and right here at the transition. So I'm gonna just smooth that out a little bit more, flatten it out a hair more. There we go. Clean that up. All right, that feels better to me. That feels way better. All right, now, even though I'm pretty much done with this tool, and it looks pretty good, I still use, and I'm not sure on the name of it, I think it's a skew. I just know which tool to use. But I use this because it's got my flat edge. And I use that and I'll go along, and you'll see that part of it will clean up, and you'll see where the gaps are. Because I can feel along here, and because it was that roughing one, I can feel little bumps all throughout it. So I want to clean that up. Oh, you gotta be. Oh, that's part of the thing. I thought for a second that was brass tube, but it is not brass tube. It's part of this color. Freaked me out for a minute there. All right. So I'm just gonna lightly, and you'll see parts where it makes contact and parts where it doesn't. And that's what we want. We want to clean up the parts where it doesn't make contact. We want it to all be clean and uniform so that it's a smoother transition. I'm just basically taking all those humps out of there. Yeah, because now I can feel it. There's still a little bit here, but I can feel it cleaning it right up so it feels a lot smoother. And this is probably a step that would happen when I sand. But for me, if I take a little time and I clean it up like this, then my sanding process is just that much faster and easier. Yeah, that feels good. So now that part is pretty good. It's setting on there pretty good.